Yo, welcome back. I am in my hometown right now. I'm in Shell Beach. I'm hanging out here. I've been parked in the camper for a few days out here, just camping and seeing different family and stuff. So the reason I'm here today is I wanted to show you guys a behind the scenes look at this new Lululemon video I made. I really had total creative freedom on this and it was incredible. I'm so thankful to Lululemon for giving me that opportunity to really just say what I wanted to say and how I really felt. And I think this video is one of the cooler things I've ever made. So I'm gonna call my buddy Justin right now. He was the director on the project and we'll just talk you through everything we did from the prompt to the finished product. So here we go. What's up, Justin?
What's up, Dylan? How are you, man?
Good, dude. Thanks for taking the time. I couldn't have done this project without you, so I'm stoked that you're taking part in this video.
Tell me a little bit, though, like when Lululemon hit you up to do this project, like how that all came about.
Since COVID hit, a lot of the productions are self-produced now, and it's no longer like you're getting hired to be a model or you're being hired for this video. It's very much like, hey, this is the finished product we want. Do you think you can deliver that? And Lululemon has trusted me, which means a world to me. So 4 creators were given the task to let the feelings flow. Create a 1 to 3 minute video that explains how you're feeling going into the new year. And I saw Ariel and all the other people in there and I'm like, one is an amazing poet, one is a professional dancer, and then the other is like a professional marathoner, DJ. I'm like, why was I chosen for this? But I'm so thankful I was. Immediately, like that was my first thought, was like, how can I make something substantial enough that it's not only gonna make Lululemon proud, but viewers will have something to take away from this. So that was the first challenge. And then that's probably when I started calling you, being like, help.
The parameters that they set up were very open, you know, it was like, hey, just like,
yeah, which is rare.
Super rare for a company to give us that opportunity to pretty much have full creative freedom. You don't get that a lot.
Yeah.
So let's start it off with pre-production. We had a good conversation about kind of where you wanted to see this whole piece go. You had some ideas, I had some ideas, and then
you tasked me with the idea to make a script, and I'm like, oh, thanks, Justin. I think for me, it all started with, we were thinking of 2020 and we knew we wanted to do something in nature. How could I describe the feeling of 2020 of like being outside, but this year was not what we expected? And I immediately had the feeling of like when you're rock climbing and you're holding for a grip and it slips out at the last second. Like you never expect to slip out. You always hope it grabs, and that feeling of like falling away from the rock, that was that first visual I wanted, and I was like, I think that's a really cool way to wrap up 2020.
Totally. I remember you telling me that, and I've been wanting to do this idea where someone's fallen into a pool and like have it like light in a way where you just don't see, like they're almost like in another dimension, you know, like they're in their thoughts or something like that.
I was driving home from climbing and I tell them this because that's probably where I got the idea. I was like, I probably fell on a rock, and then you're like, how about you fall into water? And I immediately got chills. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Dude, I still get chills when I think about it. It's such a cool transition. So I think it's kind of unique in the way that we were building these visual moments that kind of centered our piece. So we had that transition from climbing to underwater, and that was a big mood swing from like we're outdoors in nature to we're underwater in nature. And then we're like, well, how do we transition out of water? Let's swim through a bed of seaweed. We can match the seaweed to the trees in Yosemite, and that'll be a really cool transition. The best part of that first script was I ended up talking way too much. It was like a page. Through that, I was like, all right, scrap this whole thing. What are the 3 points I'm trying to get across? And it was, I felt alone in 2020. And I was like, okay, so that's our initial thing, is I feel alone. And then how did I fix that? Which was I got into nature. And then how do I want to end this year? And it's to share that with friends. So it was like, once we got those 3 bullet points, the rest of it started flowing.
I've shown some friends and family, and I think every time, you know, people are just feeling like, wow, this makes me want to go outside. This makes me want to go camping. This makes me want to go, you know, share the outdoors with someone that they love. Like truly, like the message that you give out there for everybody is just something that's so positive and something I think we all need to hear right now too.
To wrap up pre-production, The biggest thing was we had this script. It felt like a rough draft, but we had it, and from there, it's just like everything in life. You have to take that first step in order for it to become the final script. So then once production started, that's where Justin really kicked in. So what kind of gear were you using to capture this stuff?
A couple weeks before we started shooting, Sony released the A7S III. Had my eyes on that for a while. Primarily, I've been shooting with the FX9 for the last year or so. When the Sony A7S III got announced, I got excited because I was like, I think this camera would be perfect in the water.
Going from rock climbing to falling and then landing in water, Justin had the smart idea to shoot that in a pool because it's more controlled.
Yeah, so first thing, I hit up Steve Morissette to help me set up the lights. We ended up putting 2 lights on the outside of the pool. So we had one Luxley light, the Timpani version. It's like a 1x1 RGB light that was set a couple feet off of the pool, so it kind of gave us that infinite look of just like darkness and black. We had a light panel on the other side of the pool and put a piece of cardboard up just to kind of block the light. And then the very last light that we had, the backlight, we bought for like 35 bucks. Utilizing these 3 lights really helped us set the style and look I wanted. Without the lights, it would just be a dark pool. With each light, it further helped set the tone, the mood I was looking for, and to really help bring you out, Dylan, as the main focus point. I mean, it's tough though, shooting in the water at night, trying to see what's on the camera. You know, I have my goggles on, filming it, watching you fall in the pool over 100 times, I think we did.
Oh my gosh. I think the part that was toughest was we were in the ocean so much that day that both James and me, we had chills.
It won't stop.
We were just in the ocean for about 30 minutes with no wetsuits. Got the heat on blast.
So we were in the hot tub, like finally relaxed for the first time, and then it's like, all right, let's go. And I just had to fall backwards into water. I was doing a back flop probably 100 times. So
I mean, there's that one shot that we ended up using where you jumped into the pool really deep, and I was swimming towards you, going through the bubbles. It automatically racks to your face, and like you're tack sharp, and it was like, watching that playback, I got goosebumps. I was like, that is insane.
Yeah.
Like, that camera just locked on so well, and it wasn't hunting at all. It just locked right onto you. And then going from that shot to transitioning to the ocean, we hit our lowest point, and from there I wanted to go up. So it's like we bring back in that color. You're still in the water, but we're bringing back life into it.
Because again, this piece was more of a montage. So we weren't in too many shots that were medium shots. We wanted to be really tight on some shots, use a drone on some shots. Not only establish where we are in the scene, then establish the people. Let's see my friends. Let's see a close-up of them, and then me, and then just really making sure we have tight, medium, and wide shots. Then we went to San Onofre to surf. That's Justin in his element. I think you crushed that surfing scene because we did not have any time.
The compositions you can work with, like near the ocean, and like get you guys walking out there on the low tide and those rocks, and then jumping in the water. And I think we had like 20 minutes left in the water. We had 10 minutes out when we were rushing to throw on the gear and wax the boards and all that.
Yeah, I think that's another cool production thing to note too, is like, even though we're going out to these locations to get a specific shot, we had to build these into scenes, because if you just throw in random shots, it's not going to work. So you have to establish that scene. Just the shots of us prepping our surfboard and walking down, like all those built that scene. So you get to know James, you get to see what it's actually like to surf there, not just an epic surf shot. After that big day of filming, we had enough footage to work with. So now it was time to transition, let Mark Lester make his first cut, and start filling in these gaps. We reached out to Brandon to make the score. How was your experience with the score? Because honestly, I've produced a lot of things, but never actually had the ability to hire a composer.
Yeah, I met Brandon. Actually, I've known Brandon for a long time. We built a really strong relationship to where usually I'll give him kind of the overall concept and the mood and a little bit of inspiration too on the music that I'm feeling. He came back and said, "This is super inspiring. I feel like I've got some ideas. I'm gonna give you 2 different scores with 2 different feelings, and you let me know what you like." And so he sent the first one, and it was great. It was just super cinematic and like really powerful. And the second one still had this like cinematic feel to it, but it was also very gradual in how it built. And I said, that's the one I want to go with. Once we got close to like our almost final cut, but I think there's only just a couple visual swap outs. We gave him that final edit, and then he took it and just really synced it to everything.
Yeah, which just makes such a difference, because think of Mark Lester trying to edit this piece. So he's got scenes to work with, and he used my voiceover as the template for this whole thing. Again, it just never feels right, and when you watch these first cuts, you're just like, oh, like, are we doing the right thing? You start to second guess yourself. Once Brandon put his score on and everything's hitting where it's supposed to hit, it was like, we're like, all right, we're on to something now. Lululemon gave us amazing notes, and they really helped formulate what we ended up using in the script. But I think one of their notes was they wanted me to go a little deeper into the negative emotions that I was feeling, and talk about how spending more time indoors led to more time on my phone, more time behind my computer, less time outside and doing what I loved, and why that led to these feelings of anxiety and stuff. It was also key for us to let this piece breathe, and I think going with just the fact that this year I spent more time indoors than ever before, that, in my opinion, lets the audience do the talking. It's like, we want to show don't tell, and what happens when you're indoors more. And I think letting the audience do some of the work and let it be more personal to them, and rather than spelling it out, like, I didn't need to spell that out. Everyone knows what that feeling is. We all went through it this year.
And I think that's why we went through probably 12 scripts, and we kept condensing it to the point where, like, let's just say, you know, the main points that you want to say, but then, yeah, we gotta let it breathe. We gotta let people take in what it is that they maybe were also feeling.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much for we were on the phone nonstop throughout all of this. It's been a huge process, but seriously, I wouldn't have been able to make this without you. And all these projects are a collaborative effort, so I'm so stoked to the crew we assembled. And I'm really proud of this project. I wouldn't be making this video otherwise. So thank you for letting me express my feelings the way I did, and producing this with me. So
it's been a pleasure being able to work on this and seeing just your story and how you're able to, you know, get people excited to be outdoors. You know, like, I like being outdoors, but watching this whole piece come together and, like, watching that final cut, like, I get even more excited. I'm like, gosh, I need to be outdoors.
Yeah.
I need to be less time on my computer doing all this editing, and, you know, get back out and surfing again, or going out to the mountains and going camping. But again, appreciate you bringing me along, man. It was super fun.
No, dude, thank you. So I hope you guys took away something from this, and I'll get Justin to maybe get some more editing tips from him too, because watching me edit and then watching him edit is a whole nother game. It's I learned the fast way to edit and how not to kill yourself. So hopefully we'll make more of these behind the scenes videos, and keep cranking these out. I love it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.